クレイモーが半人半物というのも知らないのか。奴らは体の中に妖魔の血と肉を取り込んである組織が妖魔に対抗するために作り出した。
覚悟しろ貴様。
いつかはこうなるような気がしたよ。掟に例外はない。残念だよ、美少のテレサ。
テレサ。全てを忘れて人のまま生きていけばいいのね。なぜそこまで。
私にとってテレサは全てだった。一度失ったはずの生も言葉も生きる喜びさえも、私はテレサから全てを与えられた。だからこそ私は前に進むしかなかったんだ。
Hi everyone, my name is Chandra and this is Keys to Anime, and this is not my theme music, but I wanted to play this. I wanted to set the mood. I like the theme music. Funny fact, the other day I was at work humming this because they were like being annoying. So I was humming this literal song like the entire day. And I really like this theme music. It's pretty good. Let's see if you can recognize this theme music. So I will be using my computer a lot for this. I really want it to be very informational and give you a really good idea of this anime. So the name of this anime is Claymore, and I'm super excited to do it. I actually had to like jot down some things. Again, I have notes. And I just want to start off by saying that this is an anime that I've been watching off and on for a couple of months. So what I do is I normally watch anime. I watch, depending on how it is, if it's really, really good, I might stop and watch some of it at a time, only so that I can enjoy it. This anime I truly enjoyed. I find it very interesting. I found it very fun. Some of the points I might have to do another video on, because I have so much information to give in this particular one. So there may be a Claymore 2 where I want to go into some more of the religious ideology if I can. So this anime is based around women named Claymores. They're named after a great sword that was wielded in Scottish history back in the very, very back in the day. They are half human and half Yoma hybrids, which is basically another, like, it's almost like being a vampire, except for you can go out at night. Except for they don't consume a lot of food. They don't have to eat a lot or eat at all. Honestly, they can go days without food, but they are still human. They become claymores by taking the blood and the meat of the Yoma. Excuse me. And I would like to say this off rip about Claire, and I might end up repeating this again. Claire, not only the main character of this story, not only did she take the blood and meat of the Yoma, she also took blood and I think flesh from Teresa, one of the Claymores, which we'll delve into the storyline a little bit. So just to let you know, there are spoilers. Sorry, I should have said in the beginning, there will be spoilers. I'm really just going to talk about ideology in this anime, not necessarily the great battles. I will probably mention a few, but I'm not going to go deep into that. I want to talk more of the idea of Claymores and how it was or how it turned out. I actually kind of liked it. Trinity Blood is actually another anime, which is like half vampire, half human hybrid. But we'll talk about Trinity Blood because I honestly prefer Trinity Blood in the manga instead of the anime. Claymore actually is a real weapon in real life, and it's two different kinds of weapons. So in Scottish history, you have the Claymore, which is a large hilted cross two-handed sword. It's like it measures about 4 feet, which is super massive, or 54 and 3/4 inches. And this sword is showcased in Highlander. So for all you Highlander fans, they use those Celtic types of swords. And if I'm mispronouncing anything, I do apologize, but I did a lot. Let me tell y'all, I did a lot of research on this anime and the characteristics, and I want to talk about weapons. And definitely, I will be adding in some Christian stuff. So, just to let you know. But also, there is a weapon that the United States use that's called the M18A1. And this weapon has been used from the 1960s all the way to present day, which is a very long time to be using any type of weapon. It's conventional. It's an unconventional landmine. Is command detonated and directional, meaning it is fired by remote control and shoots a pattern of metal balls into the kill zone like a shotgun. Also, the Claymore can also be victim animated by booby trapping it with a tripwire firing system for use of area denial operations. So basically, you want to kill. The United States use this when they don't want to be basically blamed for the crime. That's interesting. So so the person will die, but with metal balls hitting you, you would never know what hit you, and you would never know where it came from. To say all of that, to say that it's cool because claymores in the anime are used as weapons, and a very heavy Catholic Church vibe. And I'll get more into that and the reason why I say that. And I'm going to make some comments. So if you are Catholic, I do apologize in advance. If you feel that I say anything that's not appropriate about the Catholic Church, please let me know. All I have to say is I'm trying to figure out why in scary movies, the devil is always going to the Catholic Church to fight. Just saying. You never see the devil talking about, whatever he is, Antichrist. Oh, I'm going to go to JJ's Baptist Church and throw down. No, you're not throwing hands in God's church. Sorry. But I digress. So, this manga, so you have the manga and then you have the anime. The anime is 1 through 26 episodes. So it started in April 2007 and it ended in September 2007. The last episode was shown. But the manga ran longer. So the manga started in 2007 and it ran all the way to 2014 with 155 chapters. And I think it was something, I forget the volume. So it was like a lot of volumes, but it was 155 chapters. And actually, I think I'm planning actually on reading the actual manga because I found out, or I noticed as I was listening to the timeline on YouTube, which there is a timeline on YouTube that they talk about it. To me, it goes from episodes 1 to about 10 or 15. Then it goes off the rails from there. It's so much other else going on. And it helps the storyline, and I like stuff to be explained to me. That's why I like when I watch scary movies, I like the Conjuring series and Annabelle series because they talk about the history of the house and how this came to be. And I like that kind of stuff. That's what I'm interested in. So, I had to play the theme music. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, this is also an anime, or not an anime, but a episode. this was a manga that was produced by Shonen Jump. So Shonen Jump, always, which is interesting, they don't normally produce these kinds of shows. So they normally, Naruto, believe it. Naruto, My Hero Academia, always about young boys. Bleach, always talking about young boys and them running off and going on adventures. Hunter x Hunter, those kinds of animes are what's normally previewed with Shonen Jump. If anyone's familiar with Shonen Jump, they premiere mangas and they produce mangas and they produce chapters upon chapters. And so if you're interested in Shonen Jump, that's where majority of our mainstream anime comes from, and it comes from the ideas are developed and come to America, where we buy the rights to distribute and to look at it, and even to purchase, even to interpret the animes that come over here. Funimation, Crunchyroll, they have to buy the rights, and then they have to get actors or voice actors to voice these characters. And I would like to take a moment to throw some Jesus in this, some Bible. It's interesting because the swords that the Claymores fight with are two-edged. And I just want to say that Proverbs 12:18 talks about the tongue being sharper than any two-edged sword. And as Christians, or as saved folks, we use the word of God as our sword, which I was like, oh, I got to tie this in some kind of way. This is so interesting. And because our mouths, and that's a way to tame our tongue, is, being mean to people, being cruel to people. That's a way for us to kind of check ourselves and look at our heart postures. And knowing that my mouth, is a sword, I can use it as a sword to pray things through and pray out of things, which is interesting because that's what Claymores do. They get in and they try to get out. And they're defeating demons, like literal, like they transform, they mutate, the Yoma, they shape shift, they can go from human to monster, in a blink of an eye, and they use their swords. And I just want to encourage you to use your sword, which is your Bible, if you are Christian. If you're not Christian, drop something in the comments, and hey, we could pray and we can get you saved. So I say all of that to say, let's talk about the anime. So this anime, like I said, I like this anime. It's pretty good. I was watching it and I'm like, okay, some lady walking around with blonde hair. Okay. Looking like a model. All right. That's what we doing. But hacking people up, cutting people up. And we're going to talk about some ideas about this anime. So I want to start with the main character. The main character is Claire, and she is a Claymore. And first episode, she's coming into a town. She comes in, and they're like, "Oh no, that's the gray-eyed, white hair, the silver hair, or white-eyed demon." That's what they call her, or witch, silver-eyed witch. That's what they call her. So they call her that, and she's ignoring them because she don't give a care. She's just here to do her thing, come in, do what she got to do, go home. So she goes to the head dude in charge, the mayor. We'll call him the mayor of the town, of these little towns. And she's like, I'm here to, destroy the Yoma, which again is a shape-shifting monster that eats entrails and will eat livestock and kill people. Like more than anything, kills people. And so she's like, I'm here to, slay the Yoma. I'm gonna look for the Yoma. You have to pay. Somebody will be here for my payment. I don't take payment because they were getting ready to cash her out. She's like, nah, I don't handle the cash. So, and I will talk more about the organ and the people who sent her to these small towns are called the organization, Catholic Church. But I digress. So, because I can only see how a church, especially I can see the Catholic Church making money off of destroying demons. Just saying. I mean, not a hater. Again, not trying to bash the Catholic Church. I don't have an issue with the Catholic Church. But these are the ideas and ideologies in this particular anime. So you have Claire, and so she's walking through the town, and it's a little boy. Oh, you're the, going up to her. Oh, you're the white-eyed, silver-eyed witch. Why do they call you that? Da, da, da. Just being a little kid. Basically a kid being a kid. And so, she finds, or she's looking for the Yoma, and she actually eventually finds the Yoma, which is something crazy. Come to find out that this little boy named, now I'm gonna probably mispronounce this little boy's name, is Rocky. It says Rocky, and he's the one who was following her around, like, oh, you're the silver-eyed witch. Oh, I want to get to know you. Da, da, da. She's like, okay, little boy, go on somewhere. So come to find out that the brother murdered Rocky's mom and dad, and was killing his uncle, because they ended up moving in with the uncle. And he's like, you finally found me, because he was getting ready to kill Rocky. So she slaughters him. The whole town is like, oh my gosh. And then come to find out, it was like a couple of more Yoma, like just hiding among the people, because humans can't tell, or they can't sense or see Yomas. But because of the yokai aura, that is what Claymore is used to find the Yomas. So that's what she used, and she said it's faint, but it's here. So I have to go find it. So she finds him. So she kills him. So she tells the guy, okay, this is I'm done. I'm out. Rocky's like, well, where can I go? I have nowhere to go. And she's like, not my problem. So I want to step back though, and let's talk about Yomas. They're beings that feed on human flesh and blood. They can shapeshift into human form. That allows them to live among humans. I talked about the organization, and there's some other stuff I do want to get into, because there are claymores that are hybrids. They're half human and half Yuma. Then you have the organization that basically employs the claymores, and that's a whole other situation. And then you have the awakened beings, which are forms of a parasite with transfigurative abilities that is capable of infecting the brain of the unsuspecting human host. The end result is a Yoma. So you have like stages. So you have human, and then you have a hybrid. You have a Yoma/human that can control. And let me say this: that claymores can control themselves, and that'll be important when I go more deeply into it. They can control themselves, and then you have the Yoma, you have the Yomas, which are just animalistic. They're killing people, and then you have Yoma/awakened being, which is a monstrous thing, like super powerful, super out of control, super crazy. So you have, like I said, you have normal Yoma, you have the Claymore hybrid that fights the Yoma and destroys them, and then you have the awakened beings, which is, they used to, and the thing of it is, they used to be human. They were claymores, and now they're awakened beings, which is a whole nother situation. And I want to drop this in there too, because claymores are all women. The reason why the organization decided to say, hey, we're going to do all women. The organization has been in existence in this anime for 150 years. So as time has went on, you have had claymores. So they did women claymores and men claymores. And men claymores seem to awaken or become inhuman very quickly. They awaken, they become inhuman. It's a wrap. And they're okay with it. They can morph, and they're okay with it. But women chose not to, and I think that has something to do with women. And because I want to talk about awakening. Awakening is when basically it's like sexual maturity, and when you reach sexual maturity, they really don't want to bother with you anymore at this point. And so women normally, because women do mature faster than men, but women's sexual peak like starts when they're older, like 30s, 40s. They don't really know who they are. They don't explore. They don't do any of that. Not promoting any of that, but I'm just saying that's the gist of it. And because this is Catholic Church, the Catholic Church always frowns, or sometimes, or most of the time, they frown on premarital sex, on you basically growing up and being human. Like, honestly, like, it's almost like growing up, like, as an altar boy, growing up in the Catholic Church, and then being dismissed because you are, oh, I see my hair. You're dismissed because your voice changed. You get older. Or you reach your, sexual, or you start to mature sexually, and they're like, we're good, we're straight, we won't get rid of you. Women don't necessarily go through those kinds of changes, which is interesting. But again, not knocking the Catholic Church. So we go back to Claire. So about a few episodes in, they're traveling. Her and Rocky end up traveling. She said, I'll take you on as a cook. You have to cook for me. And I'll take you with me, and we'll walk this thing out. So they go to a couple of battles. Well, this dude in all black with glasses, the one who's supposed to take the payment for the Claymores fighting, and destroying the Yoma, he shows up and he says, hey, I got this, you got a black card. I'm giving you this black card. You have to go kill a former Claymore. So when a Claymore awakens, or are on the verge of awakening, or will awaken. Like, it's weird. Like, in this anime, I don't know how you can decipher that when you're supposed to be back at the Vatican chilling, or back to your headquarters chilling, but they can sense it, which is interesting. Because if I'm going to awaken, why put me out in the field? But hey, I digress. Again, that's one of my questions. So I'm going to have a lot of questions, because I'm going to have to definitely read the manga, because I have to get answers. And as I read the manga, I will give you the answers, because I got to know. So he gives her the black card. He says, hey, we finna go. You got to go kill this lady. Make sure you chop her head off, because that's how you destroy them. That's how you kill them. And they're trying to give, what they explain is that they're trying to give their friend or their coworker an honorable death while they're still human, because they're still human, they can control themselves. But once they allow this animalistic thing to come out of them and to control them, that's it. They're uncontrollable, and they're super powerful, like mega powerful. Like, they have way more power than the Claymores will ever have, which is, I think, just crazy. Even with them training, eating meat. I mean, how are you more powerful than the Claymore hybrid? But I think, and it's because I believe they lose their humanity. That's really where it's at. They lose their humanity. They're caring about man and, their fellow man. And so you have that going on. So she got to go kill this guy, or kill this lady. So they go, slice her head off. Some things happen. I can't go into too much detail. She show up, and some other people show up, and she decides to go ahead and try, and they do it. So she goes on about her day, because they were arguing, and the four of them, I want to say yokai, the four Claymores were arguing, and one just went like, okay, slice the lady head off, went on about her day. Which is crazy, because, like, one, there's no trial. One, we can't talk about this. Just because I'm an awakened being, which I will talk about later, doesn't mean that I can't revert back. So, Claire goes. She handles her business. So, her and Rocky go to a town and it explains how Claymores are not allowed to be or live among the people. So, they have to stay back. They have to sleep in the outskirts of town. They can't really go through. The only time they go through a town is if they're coming to hunt or fight a Yoma, which is crazy if you really, really, truly think about it. I can't live among you. I can't be around you. And the reason why is because you fear me. But I stay off the outskirts, and I just be trying to do my own thing, which is crazy. I got to stay out here in the woods when there's like, I can be housed up somewhere. I know. So she goes to this town where there's Yoma sightings, and they're trying to figure out where this Yoma is at. Well, Claymores can be among people, but they have to take a pill to kind of counteract their Claymore. It's almost like anti-rejection drugs. They have to take them so their body basically shuts down, and their eyes turn back black, their hair turns black or brown or what color it originally was. Also, Claymores do lose a lot of their memories, or the memories that they do have is so painful, and they walk around with that hurt and that pain and that sadness, and you try not to really think about it up until your death, which I think is a miserable existence in itself. Here I am, a warrior. Like, basically, you're a warrior. You're almost at war constantly. You're at war with yourself. You're at war with the Yoma within you. And then you're at war with humans. And there is just no peace. I think it's crazy. I just think that's so crazy. So, she goes, it's almost not like the Vatican, but it's a church setting, and she leaves at night. So they stay in the little hotel, and at night she goes out and she's looking for the Yoma, and she's looking for it. So she runs across these guards. They get into it with her. They fighting each other, and she's like, man, I ain't got time for this. I'm trying to find this Yoma so I can go. And so, because the priest had asked her to come, and so. So they're looking, she's looking for them. So then the next day they come in the room and they looking for her. They're like, yeah, we're looking for the silver-eyed witch. And the Rocky's like, well, my sister isn't here, but she went to go get breakfast, man. She's not that. And even though Rocky knows that she is, so they come in and interrogate her. She leaves. They leave. So she goes back to the church, and they're looking. They finally come across the Yoma. It attacks Rocky, of course. Like, Rocky is so weak at this point. Like, I get it, you're a kid, but come on, bro. You can't wield a sword. You can't fight for yourself. You can't do anything. How are you surviving life? Like, back in medieval times, you should have been able to use a sword or something. Just saying. So, he realizes, though, that he is weak, and so he tries to get stronger. So Claire goes. She finally defeats the Yoma. He cuts her up. She's also able to regenerate, but she's not able to grow new limbs, which is interesting. They can't grow new limbs, but they can regenerate. Like, they can, like, so if I cut your arm off, as long as you have an arm, you can take it and stick it back there, and it'll fuse back together. Or, like, if you get cut or stabbed or mutilated in some kind of way, you kind of heal from your wounds. Even if they're mortal wounds, you get healed from them. So, you have that going on. And so, you have that all going on. And so, she finally defeats them. So, they're leaving. And then it's like a few episodes goes back to her when she was a child and what happened. And what happened was she was traveling with a Claymore. Her name was Teresa. And she loved Teresa. Like, she was abandoned by her family, which was weird. It's a little kid wandering around the woods. I tell you, these animes, I'm amazed. Because I'm like, where is protective services back in the day? Or in medieval times? Or at any time, like Hunter x Hunter. Just saying, how do a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or whatever age, he's a little boy, why is he allowed to go off on adventures? Like, I'm going to go take a test and become, this great person, huh? Boy, if you don't get up and go to school, like, no one is, all these folks are going to school, they skip school, I guess that's not important. Like, after you're done freeing the world, like, what's your job going to be when you get older? Adventurer? Like, I get it, But anyway, I digress. So she's wandering through the woods, and she comes across Teresa. And so Teresa kind of holds on to her as if she's her daughter. And even the other Claymores are getting on her. Like, it came down to where these guys were attacking the village. And she just left out that village. And she left the little girl there. She left Claire there. And so she went back. Like, wait a minute. Y'all have mind you, they came across these bandits before. And they were trying to rape the Claymore. And she said, oh, you want to see my body? And so she ripped her shirt off. And they were like, ugh. They were crazy disgusted. And was like, no, be straight. We don't want none of that. And so she ended up running across them again, and they go in the village and they basically destroys it. And so she got mad and she went back and she killed everybody, like the bandits. But the issue is that the rule is that you cannot kill humans. Huh? You can't get involved in their affairs. You can't do any of that. You just have to let whatever goes on, which is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ugh, ridiculous. Just disgusts me. Ugh. And so after all of that, four of the Claymores come to kill her because you committed a sin. You shouldn't have killed the humans. Da, 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 da. But I've been like, hear me out. But they didn't want to hear her out, which I thought was the craziest. So, but we let it go. And so they ended up chopping Teresa's head off. So Claire was like distraught. And so they were like, oh, child, don't worry about it. Leave her body there. Die well. And so she takes the head to the guy who comes into the city because, again, she was there to kill Yoma. Did it, and so the guy was there to collect the money. And so she went up to him and said, hey, I want to become whatever. I want to become a part of the organization. She filled out her application, I guess. And they said, okay, we'll take you. So during this time, Claymore's, the young girls were being dropped off, like literally, like just dropped off. Here you go. We don't want them anymore. You can have them, which is crazy. We throw away children, which is just, again, where's protective service at in all of this? So it comes down to it where they end up, so it goes back to Claire, and Claire ends up awakening, and she's with four other Claymores. And she does end up awakening, but she's able to come back and like take back over control. And so you have this girl, she awakened also, like during the fight, because they're like, we need more power, and they were trying to pull on that power. But the thing of it is that if you don't revert back, like, it's an issue. If you awaken, it's an issue. If you revert back, it's an issue. Like, it's an issue. It's like a big problem if you awaken. And I just think that's so crazy because you could honestly use them. But anyway, so as the story goes on, the lady is like, I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth. I owe you my life, blah, 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 blah. Do it, in Shonen Jump, I swear, you always got that one person that's always dedicating themselves to this one person. Like, dedicate yourself to Jesus. I cannot dedicate myself to one human being. Like, not in a marriage, but like, just, I'm following you to the ends of the earth. I'm going to follow Jesus and God. I think that's what I'm going to follow. And Holy Spirit. Those are the three men in my life. That's who I'm going to follow. Now, marriage is a whole different situation. But they're grateful because they're fighting with these people, and they develop these bonds, and I get that. I just can't be super dedicated to you. Sorry. Just saying. So after all of that, they part ways, and she go on about her day, and she becomes a fugitive, which is like, for real. And so, mind you, they have ranks, and I forgot to mention this. They do have ranks. So you have number 1 through 47. Claire, amazingly enough, even though she has a really good fighting style is awesome. She could defeat some people easily. Like, she can fight awakened beings and win, and she fought like 2 of them and won the battle, but she was still considered weaker. So it all kinds of comes to a head with these 4 women, and they're talking about, we're going to find out the secrets of the organization, and we're going to, put them on their head, and da-da-da-da. And I'm looking like, y'all better than me. I would just walk away. Like, I would just quit, be like, I quit, I'm going to go do something else. Well, come to find out, they end up all being called back together, and they talk to Claire, and they say, okay, we know you're awakened being, or you awakened, but we can't feel your Yoki aura anymore. So maybe you haven't awakened, but we're not sure. But if you want everything to be square with us, you're gonna go fight these awakened beings on this mountaintop. You and like 30 other people. So Claire goes to fight with Rocky to meet up with the other Claymores. They get slaughtered. Okay. First of all, we're fighting male awakened beings. That's the first issue. And they're like, and then the first is like powerful, then more powerful, then more powerful. And they run into awakened claymores throughout this series. So you're running into an awakened being. Like, it's like, you throw a rock, you got an awakened being. You throw a rock here, you got an awakened being. Okay. Super powerful enemies. And I mean, to the point where Claire runs across this one awakened being. I mean, she kills the lady, but her and I forget what number rank this lady was. I think number 2. She liked killing awakened beings. Like, she got off on it. Like, she super enjoyed it. And she's like, oh, you're an awakened. Before they get to the mountaintop, my bad. Let me backtrack. So before they get to the mountaintop, Claire runs into this other Claymore, and they have to fight this awakened being. Well, they don't end up destroying the awakened being, but in the process of this girl, they end up fighting each other. And she ends up trying to kill Rocky. Or she throws him out and use him as bait. And Claire's like, wait a minute, you doing too much, ma'am. And she's like, oh, well, I'm enjoying it. So I enjoy killing people. I enjoy killing Claymores. And so this is going to be enjoyable, especially you're an awakened being. I can smell it in your aura. So she couldn't necessarily hide her aura, Yoki aura, which sucked for her. Because that's something that I probably would have learned to do, but she didn't. So there you go. So in the process of trying to kill an awakened being, you have these two Claymores fighting. Well, what happens is Claymore number 2 becomes awakened. And so, oh, snap. And she doesn't even know that she awakened. And that's the crazy part. Like, she didn't even notice. How you not notice when you're pulling on for more power and more power and more power. And it's funny because it just dropped in my spirit. Like, we tried to fight battles in our own strength, and we're enjoying taunting people, and we're trying to fight these battles in our own strength. And we're trying to pull on our energy to fight when we need the Holy Spirit to help us, and we need God to back us up and give us those weapons to fight. And when we pull on ourselves and we pull on our when we try to use art, when we try to fight a battle, it almost dang near kills us. We're in sin because this thing almost killed us. Like, we finna die spiritually when we should have just turned this over to the Lord. Side note. I just thought I'd throw that in there. So Claire runs back into this girl, but this girl cut Claire's arm off and destroyed it. So the arm, and it was the arm that she used to fight, her dominant arm. So she runs into a Claymore who she hadn't seen Claire in years, and she was the one who killed or assisted in killing Teresa. And she was like, yeah, if I'd have known then, but sitting in the cabin in the woods being weird, basically. Like, you get those. I don't know. And then that's something else in anime. You get that one person sitting in the woods being all weird and creepy, but that's who you go find to, like, resurrect your life. You know what I mean? Like I go to the mountaintop to get help and advice, from another person, which anime, they do that a lot too. You run across, you're looking for this weirdo to help you. And I mean, they weird. I mean, weird. Like, I see why you're no longer a part of us, human, the civilization in cities or populations. Like, I get it. That's why you're over in the woods somewhere being weird. So she's in the woods being weird. And so Claire finds her. She's split up from Rocky. Rocky is looking for her. Rocky. So weak. Just, we're humans are so weak, but oh my gosh, it's just too much. Anyway, I digress. So Claire finds the lady number 2. This lady has no arm. Like, something happened to her arm. So Claire's dominant arm is gone. So she taught her how to use her sword technique, which was so great. She was like the best fighter. Mind you, they were trained for years. Claymores are trained for years in sword fighting and hand-to-hand combat. Okay? So this lady was like the bomb when it came to the sword. So she ended up hacking her own arm off, which I'm trying to figure out how you do that with one arm. Just saying. Tosses her arm, say, Claire, here, use my arm to fight your battles or to fight. And she's like, oh, thank you, but I really can't take your arm. Well, kind of cut my arm off and gave it to you. She said, I know the organization is looking for me, and if you found me, it's easy for them to find me, and I already know my fate, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So Claire wanders off into the woods. She grabs the arm, attaches it, goes into the woods. Fine, okay. So someone from the organization pops up and kills her. Not like the lady. I was like, ain't this about a blood? This is some craziness. But see, this is what happens when people come to look for you. And you're in the woods, minding your own business. They bring trouble to your doorstep. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. So that's when she runs into the guy. She runs into the awakened being that she was supposed to kill in the beginning. Did not kill the awakened being. I'm sorry. I apologize. The awakened being escaped, which was like, she was like a little girl. And she's further in the woods with some Yoma, some dude that she's controlling, and they're torturing Claymores. So they're finding Claymores and torturing them. And before they get close to death, they're trying to force them to awaken. And they awaken, and she's like, oh, this person isn't as powerful as I was expecting them to be. Go ahead and kill them. Or eat them. Eat them! And so, there you go. You have that going on. So, Claire runs into number 2, and she ends up destroying her. Not without asking questions. I don't understand why we are always... Let me take a sip. Why we are always investigating or asking questions. Yes, my fizzy water. I'm not understanding why we're investigating folks. I need you to stop investigating people, okay? People, no. They don't need to talk. They need to die. Because they're not gonna give you the answers that they want. And guess what? She did not get the answers that she wanted. Now what? That was a waste of time. So you got that going on. So then she runs to the guy from the organization. That's when he tells her you gotta go to the mountaintop and fight these Yomas. Get up there, they get slaughtered. Okay? They get slaughtered. They get killed. And mind you, her 4 friends that she had, they also had awakened. And the organization knows it, but they're not saying anything. Set up for failure, I feel. Or they're using you until they can't use you no more. Get up there and get slaughtered. Then they come to find out that they have some awakened beings. There's some awakened beings that come to fight too. But they are male. What? Well, no one knew this, but they used to use men instead of women back in the day. But because they awakened quickly, because basically awakening felt super, super great. They felt free, whatever the case may be. They realized that they can't control them is the issue. And so they let them go on their way. So you got these hybrid superhumans, Yomas, or awakened beings, who control the north, south, east, and west. What? Huh? So it's a whole nother situation going on. So the organization has this going on, and it's right underneath their nose, and nobody's talking about this. Huh? Anyway, so basically they get their butt kicks. They fight, and the episode's going on. They're fighting, and getting slaughtered. And Claire awakens. She pulls on way more strength than she needs to. And because I'm getting towards the end, and she ends up almost killing Rocky. Which, let me tell you, as a regular human child, Rocky was the worst. First of all, you're looking for Claire. Claire told you, stay here and be safe. I'll be back for you. Oh no, I'm gonna go find her. Oh, because I'm gonna be her superhero. I'm gonna be the one that saves her. Bruh. No. Come to find out, he was hanging out with Priscilla and this other guy, which was the king of the north. Super powerful. Super powerful guy. Like, huh? Ain't nobody say anything. And he was like, come on, Priscilla. And I was like, wait a minute. Well, come to find out, Priscilla was one of the people who was there to kill Teresa. So Claire is like, so when Claire finds out, which is like too many episodes later, this guy walks past, the guys walk past, oh, you don't go to the city because, they're killing, Yoma are there and they're killing people and da-da-da-da. Priscilla wanders off and decides to eat people. Then she starts crying. It's almost like, it was like a drunk, someone who gets drunk, and it's not a fun drunk. She's not a fun drunk. She started crying, oh, mommy, oh, daddy, oh, brother. Really? So we had to sit and listen to that for a good little while. That was a bit much. Again, not a fun drunk. And so basically it comes down to Claire awakening and Priscilla. And Priscilla's like, Teresa? Like, I smell you. This is not Hansel and Gretel, where witches is smelling people, okay? I smell you, mind you. And that's why I said all that to say that Claire took in some of her meat and some of her blood as well. Come to find out, she was super powerful. Not powerful enough, but powerful. And so her and Priscilla are fighting back and back. Oh, I don't want to destroy her. Huh? And then she realized, like, wait, you the one who sliced my mentor's head off. I'm coming for you. I want you. So she fully awakens, and she cuts her down. But the king of the north comes and saves her. Okay. And I say all that because when I was reading the manga, I was actually sitting there. Well, I was on YouTube. There's the timeline for Claymore. When I tell you, it goes up until I'll say it gets to where the four of them fight, the four Claymores fight, and then they find out that they've all awakened at some point in their travels or whatever. Then it jumps to a whole nother situation. It talks about the organization. It talks about humans and what they've been doing. And I'm like, wait. And then other Claymores and their significance. And I'm like, wait, what happened? What happened? So, I truly need to read the manga. I implore you, watch the manga. I would say watch the anime first and then read the manga. Honestly, because if I would have read the manga first, if I would have saw the anime, I would have been mad. I would have been angry. Like, but that's not in here. That's not in here. That's not in here. But that's just like anything. You take the good and the bad. And they do not explain awakening beings. They do not fully go into what awakening is. And that's why I want to do a part 2. And I want to read the manga because I want to delve deeper into this thing because it's more to it. The awakening beings, there's more to it than just that. I just want to make sure that I cover everything. I like the series. And it was pretty good. Again, and I will talk more about the actual characters because I really think that it's important. So, I say all that to say it all goes down. The 4 women, or 3 women, they decide, we're going to leave the organization. And then you have Claire, which is like, I'm going to wander the earth until whenever, and I'm going to be okay. That's kind of how it went down. So, the ending, garbage, if you ask me. I really think that there needs to be a season 2. Clearly, there should be a season 2 where there's more. Again, I'm going to read the manga because, again, I like information and they just don't give you enough. They just don't give you enough information. Again, I did enjoy the anime. There were no slow parts. for me, it's continuously at continuous action. The music that they play throughout is pretty good. Like it like predicts like it's gonna go down. like you know it's about to go down. All in all, I enjoyed the anime. I hope you like the anime too. I hope it was a good descriptor. Again, I want to hit more on the religious parts. Like I said, I did a lot of research on this anime, as a matter of fact. Well, not a lot, but enough. Okay, my fingers were working hard. So I truly, again, enjoyed this anime. And I want to delve deeper into awakening and that spiritual connotation to that. And the religious connotation of that. So I definitely will be leaving myself a note to definitely delve deeper and to read the manga and really get into it. Because I think it's more there than what it is. I mean, 155 chapters, I mean, you got something going on. You know? At least. And I think it was 75 volumes, I want to say. So, if you want to, you can correct me in the manga. I don't give a care. I mean, not in the comments. I don't really give a care. I'm not that person. Please, I would like to say to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Again, this is Chandra Keys to Anime. Oh, by the way, before I forget, how do you like my little studio? Ghost in the Shell, which I will talk about. Ghost in the Shell is like super, super deep. I like the movie. But super, super deep. And I might have to do the manga and the anime. One of those seasons. And then my favorite is Bob's Burgers, which I'm watching season, I won't say chapter 7. The 7th season now, which I'm truly enjoying and getting to understand the characters. Again, I want to do more of a deep dive into the anime. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, please comment. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, I like the anime. I know this video was long, but I do appreciate you guys waiting on me to put out more content. I definitely am. I am going to do something a little more fun. And like I explained to a coworker friend of mine, I don't watch romance anime, and I'm not a slice of life anime. I like gore. I like blood. I like fighting and action. Big action fan. So to me, those are the animes I probably will be covering. I do want to cover a slice of life anime though. Well, actually, it's 2. I know, right? But one is The Way of the House Husband, which go to Netflix and watch. It is hilarious, and I do want to do some talking about it. If you have any suggestions, please drop it in the comments. I will read the comments and I will definitely look at it. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I do want to do something before I go because I feel like I think you need this. I'm going to play this. Just something fun. Oh, wrong place. Wrong place, y'all. I'm so sorry. Help me. Just help me. I think you guys will like this. I'm so sorry. And I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, fun fact about Yasuke. The guy who created the music, Flying Low. Fun fact, I went to YumaCon a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3, and I met him. Crazy thing though, I met him. He does the beats for Adult Swim. So in the breaks of the song, so like when you're watching like Adult Swim and they have the little beats and little like, I don't know, vibing music. Yes, that's him. I met him, shook his hand, and I believe I took a picture with him. So Yay! So, and I did find out he has a soundtrack. Yes, Kay, I will be coming for you. I will be getting the soundtrack. Yes, I'm excited. You guys will be too because you will be listening to this music. So, I had to play it. I just had to. And I just had to give it to you. The end. The end of something good, you guys. Again, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Again, Black girl talking about anime. Keys to anime. I'm out.